For this video, I'm going to do things slightly different. Instead of discussing one game, I'm going to be talking about a whole series of games. And the series we'll be taking a look at is Sleuthhounds, a point-and-click adventure series by C Left Games. I thought this was the best way to cover these games, as they are best taken sequentially, incorporating new ideas and mechanics with each title. So without further ado, let's start with the freeware original, Sleuthhounds: The Unlocked Room.
Well, this can't be good.
In Sleuthhounds: The Unlocked Room, you play as Pure Luck Holmes, detective extraordinaire who has found himself trapped in a dungeon.
Oh, not again.
This results in some point-and-click puzzles to escape, but what changes things up is its other mechanics. Being a detective, there's a focus on discovering clues, as well as some logic questions and a lockpicking minigame. There are even some optional puzzles for the dedicated Sleuthhound, but altogether the game is pretty short. If you want to avoid most puzzles and just enjoy the story, there is a difficulty selection to tweak it to your liking. An interesting design decision is that you can essentially give up from the beginning of the game, but end up with a lower rank in the story, encouraging you to try again and learn the whole story. To get the top spot requires almost perfect skills, which the lockpicking minigame kept me from achieving. What intrigued me most was the discovery mechanic. When looking for clues, you examine an object to find points of interest. These points of interest can then be connected to the questions you have, leading you to a conclusion. While it is open to trial and error, it helps shake up the more traditional point-and-click formula. The game also has full voice acting, which worked well.
Well, this E is upside down. That does change things.
The story, while being short, does set up nice groundwork for future titles. There is some humor of the cheesy variety, so it adds a little color to the dialogue.
My Chocoholics Anonymous 26-day badge.
All in all, it's a good game for being free. Let's move on to the next title, Sleuthhounds: The Cursed Canon. In this freeware title, we play as Jane Ampson, a retired reporter who comes back to this line of work to cover Amelia Deerhart's cannon launch. Unfortunately, the cannon launch does not go as planned, since it was sabotaged. Now Jane must take on the role of investigator and figure out who's behind this mess. This game increases the scope from its predecessor with more rooms, characters, side quests, and puzzles. While most gameplay has stayed the same, the investigation mechanics have been completely replaced by a new system. Since Jane is a reporter, you utilize her interviewing skills to talk to witnesses, figuring out their actions during the event, and then placing them on a timeline to see what reveals itself. This fits perfectly for the character you're playing as, and it shifts the focus to the strengths of the game, its characters. You will find yourself investigating each character, who are a joy to talk to as they have diverse and charming personalities.
How's the crowd?
A little rambunctious, but I've been keeping an eye on them since they started arriving around 11.
That right, crowd?
Yeah.
Each person has their own history that you learn as you converse with them. I especially like the interactions between Ampson and Deerhart, and the game realizes this as it's one of the main plot points. You do have to put work into how you talk to them, as I ended up not completing all the side quests on my first time around, missing out on some character development. The wide array of characters results in a more grand tale, but it follows the beats one would expect in a mystery title. Among these changes, there are some quality of life improvements. Hotspots for characters, hints for all difficulty levels, and achieving the highest rank is much easier in this title. It all ends up in a much better flowing game. Sleuthhounds: The Cursed Canon took what the first game did and improved on it in ways that created a much better experience. With this, we move on to the first commercial game in the series, Sleuthhounds: The Valentine's Vendetta. In this title, you play as both Pure Luck Holmes and Jane Ampson, now a detective team solving mysteries. How they team up, we do not know, besides a teased Sleuthhounds title that has not been released yet. The mystery of the day is our most dangerous one yet. Who killed Charlotte the Plant? The game is smaller than previous titles, with only one room, but playtime is relatively the same. This includes the exclusion of side quests, sadly, resulting in a much more streamlined experience. What's new is you can now play both characters, switching between them when their skills are needed. The investigation mechanics from the two previous titles return, melding together nicely. You'll investigate a scene with Pure Luck Holmes, piecing together an event he ekes out, or interview a subject with Jane Ampson to then be placed in her timeline. They play off each other in humorous ways during the plot, which helps keep things fresh.
Crushed wrappers full of crumbs of chocolate.
Steady on, Holmes.
This combining of the two investigation mechanics makes this game feel whole compared to the past titles, albeit with a smaller scope. Next up is a Game Jam offshoot, Amelia Deerhart and the Elemental Temple. This one was developed during Ludum Dare 36, so the scope is much smaller than any other title in the series. There's no sound at all, the plot bare bones, and the playtime short. You play as Amelia Deerhart, last seen in the Cursed Canon, in the middle of one of her adventures. It is up to us to help her escape. It's just a couple of puzzles to solve and you're done. There's not much to say about it, though it is impressive there's as much content as there is for a game made in such a short time frame. It's safe to say this one is more for those that want all Sleuthhounds content, since outside of that, there's not much else. Finally, we'll end with the most recent title in the series, Sleuthhounds: The Halloween Deception. We are back with another holiday-themed Amson and Holmes mystery, this time investigating for a serial pranker at a Halloween party. The game abandons the investigation mechanics of all previous titles, and instead opts for inventory puzzles and a variety of mini-games. The puzzle design in this one was a little disappointing, as I felt most situations had similar solutions to each other. Optional minigames spice things up a bit, but it felt mostly the same as previous titles. It's still enjoyable, but with this most recent title, I feel it was too samey for my taste. The Sleuthhounds charm is still there, but slightly muted. The Sleuthhounds series is one that more people should take a look at. Its investigation mechanics and charming characters help make it a series adventure fans would maybe enjoy. While the newest title has seemed to find itself in a rut, the Cursed Canon and Valentine's Vendetta were a joy to play through. There is a Christmas-themed Sleuthhounds game currently in development, and when it's released, I'll be reviewing it as well. Hopefully it or another sequel could shake things up more, as I see a lot of potential in the franchise. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, perhaps you'd like to support me on Patreon. Any dollar amount helps this channel keep going. Anyways, here's some of my other videos. If you like looking at the game industry, check out my video on Call of Duty, Skinner boxes, loot boxes, and Patreon. Or if you want a review, check out my review of The Lion Song, an episodic adventure game. Well, that's all I had to say, so see you around.